Hello, hello. I am live again today. And let me see. Right now, I am connecting myself into Instagram. All right. So I am truly excited for this topic today. There I am. I had to check. I am fully up and going Instagram. Unfortunately, the comments on Instagram don't show here. So I may toggle a little bit just to catch the comments over there. And this is my new live time. I'm going to go live every Wednesday to connect with all of you until spirits move me in another direction. All right. And it's easier for me because it's daytime. The lighting is a little better. I have my ring light here and I'm working on crystal clear images and all this kind of stuff. I am so excited to be back. I'm going to keep this pumped so I don't bore you guys, okay? And I see one person is on already. Please say hi, ask any questions that you have, and so on. This is for you. I truly enjoy connecting with everybody. Oh, we have some more people here. Okay, this is great. So I had to do a live on this topic to clear some things up. Because I hear from many of you, why does my twin flame treat me this way? Why do they ghost me? And everything felt like it was going well. Maybe they made all kinds of promises to you, right? Maybe, the two of you had a future plan, you had all this stuff going, and out of the blue, they left. And you're left feeling devastated. There's unanswered questions. Maybe your twin flame is telling you things like, I don't want to be with you. They seem to be running away. All this kind of stuff, right? And so I had to come on and share my experience on the anxious-avoidant attachment style I did not know I have. Okay? I didn't know I had this, right? So there are different reasons that a person will run from the connection. Maybe they're married, maybe they're not in a great place in life and they want better for themselves before they can truly connect. Maybe the connection caught them at a time they didn't feel ready. All of this, right? There are multiple reasons. So during this stream, what I don't want you to do is grab the information and try to fit it into your situation. If it doesn't fit, perhaps it might fit, because we're talking about attachment style here. And we all have different attachment styles. And that whether you feel you need to heal or not, let me explain it a little bit if you're not familiar with it. I'm not listing all of them, just the ones I'm covering here. So there is the avoidant, the anxious, and the secure attachment. Okay. And there actually can be a combination. For myself, it was more of the anxious avoidant. And the anxious person generally wants to hold on to the connection and they feel really worried about it. And they go into people pleasing. They want to hold on tightly and do everything and be everything to this person and so on to make it work, to make connection work. The avoidant, we'll dive into this, is scared of attaching. Let's put it this way. It's scared of attaching and will look for every reason not to do so. This happened. That happened. Oh no, I can't. Oh no, I knew that was going to happen. Let me stay 1 foot in, 1 foot out. This was me for years before finding this journey. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So that way, when things don't go well, I'm out and stuff like that. Constantly scanning for an exit. So this is the avoidant. And the secure are just secure. There's neither. But what I discovered today is a secure person can be anxious secure, perhaps an avoidant secure, which is more of what I went into when I was really healing, is that avoidant secure, which may sound weird to some of you if you haven't heard of that. Kind of like brush that. You're like, Anxious secure, voice secure. Oh yeah. So when I reconnected with my person, I was like, I'm anxious about this connection. A part of me wants to run still, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to remain here and go through the ups and downs and all this kind of stuff and take moments to step back and really look at myself and not pin anything on anyone, which is something very important for you to discover how to do. Because a lot of times when we get triggered, we put it on that person. Okay. We put it on that person. You're the one who did X, Y, Z, this, and that, rather than going inside. One of the things the universe taught me, very, very important lesson. They said, when you are triggered, oh, all right, let me put, it looks like I was not live on Instagram. All right, so now I'm on Instagram. All right, so the universe said, when you are triggered, take notes. And I'll say it loud for those in the back, okay? When you are triggered, do not pin it on your person or anybody else, because you hurt that person and you hurt connection, okay? You hurt the person and you hurt connection. This is where people get into these screaming arguments. They say words that they regret later. It's ego. The ego gets the best of the situation. This is one of the stuff I teach, how to recognize ego in yourself, in that person, and how you really can take a step back. This is nervous system repair, so you're not being reactive when you're triggered. So that way you're not pinning it on them. You want to build connection. You don't want to destroy it. Okay. All this matters in a twin flame connection. I don't care what anybody's teaching out there. There's not a lot of people that would teach you how to actually connect with the person. There is a human side of you. Okay, we have human sides that remembers our pain, our trauma, limiting beliefs, all this kind of stuff. And it just comes up. It comes up like randomly because we're human. All right. But learning what to do when this happens will save your connection, because the last thing you want is to be triggered, to go into the stories from that trigger, and now you and your person are disconnected again. All right. So during this healing phase, if you're not hearing from this person, this is the time for you to heal from all of that. Heal the way you're connecting with yourself, and you're allowing your person to feel connected with you. Okay. And when I say that, I mean, I can go on about this. I'll have to do a video on connection. When I say that, I'm really referring, how do you let love in? Okay. That's what I'm referring to. How do you let love in? Is it anxious, avoidant, secure? How? And connect with them. You know, a lot of times we're not taught to connect. You know, I'll get a camera that stays steady. I know this camera moves, so I'm doing my best not to move very much. So let me get into this. I had thought about where I'm going to begin with this. You know, I have to start from my upbringing, because that's where it starts, right? From my upbringing. I'm originally from the islands. I'm from Haiti. And a big part of the culture, I'm not saying it's the entire country, I'm not saying it's everybody, I'm just speaking for what I was around, is this is how all men are. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're going to do what they want to, choose anybody, who cares, okay? They're going to do these things to you anyways. And everyone who approached me, every married woman who approached me was like, yeah, my husband was out doing all this kind of stuff. Believe me, they're all no good. So I was raised around, they're all no good. Don't expect anybody to be good, okay? And so then there's that. And there's also the family dynamic. You know, it's not that I'm throwing my family under the bus. I love my parents, but the upbringing with many of us, this was me too, was pain. If I inflict pain on you in some kind of way and you speak up for yourself, you're in trouble. Okay. Can't speak for yourself, can't tell the truth, can't lie. You're going to be in trouble. So all of this stuff formulated my idea about connection, which I did not realize it did until I hired a coach, that love hurts. All right. So knowing love hurts, this means whoever I'm connected with is going to hurt me. And already I'm expecting it's going to hurt because my entire life I was told that it hurts. And so where a lot of people, a lot of the older folks were accepting this pain and hurt, and maybe they didn't realize they had it in them, that wasn't me. I was like, I don't want the liar, the cheater, the manipulator. I don't want to experience any of that. And so I would spend a lot of my time trying to fight that. And I was in a long-term marriage, really avoiding relationships, avoiding the relationship. I was married, but he mirrored my avoidance that I didn't realize I had. Okay. Didn't know it was there. I was like a married single mother. You saw me with the kids, you did not see him. And that's how we had the marriage. Maybe once in a while, sporadically, we'll be together. We took a trip maybe one time together or something like that. But he was a total avoidant, exhibited narcissistic tendencies and that kind of stuff. I won't label him as narcissistic, even though behind closed doors, well, former, maybe still. I say narcissistic tendencies. I'm not a psychologist, but you get the idea, or a therapist and stuff like that. I have some respect for him. Took a long time to get there. And so we're talking about someone totally disconnected. And because of that, it highlighted my disconnection, which grew into disconnection. And there was constant worry and panic. Are you cheating? Who are you with? What's going on? What's happening? And all of this. And my concerns were not addressed by him. So no one addresses my concerns in a relationship. There wasn't any demonstration of that. Okay. All right. Hi, Monique. All right. So then I meet my twin. By the way, I was still married when I met my twin. He was too, so I'm not exempt to this. If you've never heard my story, here's my story. I don't know why it is. The universe has a lot of twin flames come together when one or both are in connection with someone else. And I was no exception to that rule. My marriage had broken down at the time. I wasn't even looking at him, staring at him, or anything like that. It was like two ghosts passing each other. At that point that I met my twin, and his ex lived in another state, all this kind of stuff, right? That's not beside the point. So that's that's besides the point, I should say. My twin comes in to the picture, and I'm just remembering that time when you meet your twin. If this had happened to you, you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. I'm complete the way I am. This connection just feels out of this world. It feels so good. So I was seeing everything that I thought was me. Okay. Everything. And maybe this happened with you, with your twin. Comment it below if you did. I'll check the comments later as well, where you're like, oh, I get to be me and show up as me and feel loved and validated and safe and all this kind of stuff. You're feeling all of this because this is what happens at the beginning of the connection, is you and your twin are connecting with the higher version of yourself. You haven't connected with your true self. Not yet. Okay. Especially if you're in this healing phase right now, you had not connected with your true self at the time. So some of you might be like, well, I want things to go back to how they used to be. I'll tell you this. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because when you and your twin met, perhaps neither of you have gone through this intense healing journey yet. And you met the representation of yourself. Okay. You don't want the representation of yourself to show up in connection. It will not last long term. All right. This is also what I go into with my clients, is how to show up authentically. Because if you show up in connection as a version of yourself who's not really yourself, you're people pleasing, Life is always about them. You're ignoring a whole big part of yourself in your life, and so on. When the true version of yourself comes out, this is what's happened. We're going to get to that. Your true version comes out, your connection was not built on that, and it will not sustain on that. So in order to have a sustainable connection, you've got to be real and connect with yourself. This is what the journey is about. I know a lot of people are talking about, what do you call, align with soul? Yes. Balance your energy? Yes, but it goes deeper than this because your twin mirrors your connection with yourself. Okay. And so I see one comment there, and all right, I'll get back to this. This is a little bit, ooh, okay. All right. I'll get back to your comment. All right. So then, as you know how the journey goes, your real self comes into the picture. Okay. The pain that happens on this journey, I realize, is when we fall in love because we didn't create the love. Like, get out of blaming yourself. You have intense love and passion and longing for someone. Don't blame yourself. If your family is calling you crazy, no, you're not. This is how the journey is, okay? And we fall in love with the version they felt they were, that they wanted to be. And then when the real version came out with the pain, the fear, the whatever it was, that's when you start to see who the person really is. Okay? Who the person really is. All right. So what does that have to do with me? All right. Where do I go with this? And so I would say he left the first time. And I was like, what is this connection? I recognized it within 3 weeks. I was like, what on earth is this? And I was researching, like, why did it feel like I was with myself? I got to see everything I ever wanted in life through him in 3 weeks. That's all it took, 3 weeks. And I said, wow, there are things about me I forgot about myself that I saw, and it was amazing. But then when he came back, and he wasn't quite the same like he used to be. He was going through his own situation at the time. I wanted what was there in the beginning. I wanted it so bad. I was so excited. I was like, well, confused at first and feeling like, I don't know. Perhaps this was like the second return. But here's what happened. I wanted it. It was on my mind all the time. And I chased so bad, I didn't recognize who I was. And by that time, I had discovered a twin flame coach. I had done some healing. I thought I was grounded. But this energy took me again. And it seemed like he distanced himself. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm being rejected. Oh, he doesn't want me. I didn't know anything about energy at that time. Like there are other things, like you're the chooser, ground, and all this kind of stuff. But the energy of being outside of your body and trying to make something happen, like I need it right now, reflects this. Oh, and then it feels like the energy is too much for your twin. Okay. And so he's distancing himself. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not wanted here. And there was a lot of things that happened, dates that didn't fall through and all this kind of stuff because he was going through what he was going through. But at that time, my mind could not put that together. No, my mind was like, why do I feel like I'm not wanted here? And maybe I wasn't, but my mind was saying that, okay? Actually, that's not true. And so I can remember this one particular moment. This is the reason, if some of you have experienced ghosting, and I do not promote ghosting. I'm not saying it's a good thing to do with anybody. This was something that I had to heal from. I do share the experience so you can get an idea, because the last thing I want for you, or what you don't want for yourself is to blame yourself for their disappearance. Okay. Do not blame yourself for their disappearance. And so I had a situation with my ex-husband, who I mentioned had narcissistic tendencies, had said some strange things that normal people would not say. And I was terrified of this guy, where I was crying and he didn't address it. And I was like, who ignores someone who's crying? And all this kind of stuff, which, this is another video, which was me ignoring myself. It's a mirror. And so because my twin was going through what he was going through at that time, here I was crying because I was beginning to realize he's not emotionally available for me. And I was like, okay, tears started and he didn't respond. That was one instance. Another one, I was a runner, okay? Let's put it that way. And so I remember looking at that and I said, and it felt like I was going through the same thing again. And there was another time we had a disagreement and my mind was like, oh, there it goes again. My mind just kept saying, again, this is happening again. You're failing at relationship again. Okay. And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't seem to do this relationship thing. And rather than going into the conversation about it, instead of saying, hey, I'm feeling a certain way here, and taking ownership of my feelings, which is something I wasn't able to do then. This required some healing, okay? When you take ownership of your feelings and make it about you, that's a one level of healing. It's amazing. It builds connection. Believe me, when you can say, I'm feeling this way, and I'm going to explore why that's happening inside of me. Just like the universe said, your trigger, don't pin it on your person or the connection, because you're going to hurt that person. Okay. Didn't know all of this stuff and just felt like I'm not needed here and backed away. Okay. And I was not the person, if I had a phone call or something from him, I would have ignored. I'm not an ignorer. I don't believe in that. And I don't know why people do it either. They just ignore that call. No, call them at some point. And so, but he didn't reach out. He felt like he couldn't give me what I needed at that time because I wanted it now. I wanted everything right now. I didn't understand male psychology. That's another thing in there too. Okay. I didn't understand how relationship builds, which takes time. Okay. I know some of you are like, 𝐿, don't tell me about time. I want it right here, right now. We are not built the same way. Some people don't go into relationships saying, all right, I'm fully here, even when they show up fully here. This happens with a lot of divine masculines. They'll come in, let's go, let's party, let's explore life, let's do all of this. And then they start to realize, I can't fulfill these promises. I was ahead of myself. Let me slow this down. Like, this is going too fast for me. This is why it's important to slow it down. Okay, slow it down. But the thing with me, I didn't open up about what was going on inside of me. And he even kept asking, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Meanwhile, I was crying all the time because of this connection. Like, I was just like, I felt like I'm not needed here and things like those. So my story, this gets good. I hope you can stay to the end, right? Ooh, there's a lot of comments. Let me read some of these. And matter of fact, I just keep hearing, I'll come back to the comments. I'll respect your time. Let me keep going and I'll go back to the comments. Anybody want to stay for the comments, stay for them. All right. So let's keep going. So I went down a rabbit hole. I cried. The pain was intense every single time. Don't think your running person who appears to be running is not in pain. It's painful when you meet someone who you feel is the one, who you feel connected with, and you don't feel good enough for it, and you're feeling like they don't even really want you. If they say they want you, they're lying. That's another thing that trauma does to people. This is what happens with avoidant folks. And I say anxious avoidant because I was like super anxious. My body worked up like, oh, I don't know. And the anxiety became worse the further down the journey. It really did. And so then before I interrupted myself, where was I? I forgot. Maybe somebody will remind me. All right. And oh yeah, so here it is. What trauma does. The trauma will pick out the trauma. It will connect. The person will be connected with the trauma that's in them and filter everything else out. So if you were ever like, I was so nice to them, you know, I showed them that I care. I wanted them to choose me. Why didn't? Number one, you're running from yourself. If you're doing that, you don't need to do that. Just let them choose you. Choose you and let them make the choice to choose you. That's another video. Okay. The trauma will filter out any positive things you're doing, and it's going to go straight to that thing that they're familiar with. And it will verify they're not good enough. Okay. If you have a screaming argument, if you're the person that was just like yelling loudly at your divine masculine counterpart who has mother trauma, mama trauma, motherly wounds, severe ones especially, this gets interpreted as, oh my goodness, my mom is yelling at me again. I'm not good enough. Everything I do is not good. The trauma connects the person with an experience from the past, and they're saying, this is repeating again. Okay? I'm not good enough. This is why I don't recommend yelling. If you yelled, you lost it. All right, I get it. And that kind of stuff. We're human. Sometimes we, that if you do it enough time, your person will be out. They'll shut down. And the idea of coming back to you is going to be terrifying. So I'm letting you know, work on that right now. Work on that. And I sure hope the link is below. You want to schedule a call, you're looking for one-on-one. Let's do this. Okay? Because what you don't know about connection, ChatGPT is not going to help you figure it out. I say that because I know some of you are using ChatGPT to help, which is fine. It'll get you to a certain point, but connection goes a lot more than this. Okay. And I'll explain to you because this is how you're going to help your connection with your twin flame. I will explain this to you. And so I hired a coach who was recommended to me. This was a twin flame coach. I have to give credit where credit deserves, right? This was Lee. If you're familiar with them, I'm just going to say his first name because I don't think they want to put themselves out there that much. But if you are familiar, you're familiar. And the question that was asked to me, because I was like, I didn't feel like he wanted me. And he asked me, did he say that? I was like, my goodness. No, he didn't say that. And what I started to realize is I made the decision for our connection without even talking about it. Okay. And I had to learn how to let the other person be responsible for their feelings, for their reaction. One of the things that trauma does, especially when you were told you can't talk about your feelings, you were trained not to talk about it because every time you talk about it, you got in trouble. Someone really got upset. They said, who cares about your feelings and all this kind of stuff. The fear of opening up is terrifying. Like, what if they don't accept me? What if they reject what I'm saying? What if they come back with some sort of mean, vicious, because that's what you remember, okay? That's what you remember. When you open up, they were mean. Whoever it was, your parents, caretakers, teachers, they were mean. And so I couldn't open up. I was too afraid to open up. And so by opening up, this is what you do. When you open up, you let them own their feelings. It's okay if the person is going to say, well, I don't agree with you. Or this is how I'm feeling and all this kind of stuff. It does not mean you're being rejected. So this is the thing I had to come to learn, is to let go of the idea that the relationship is doomed because I opened up. Okay. It goes further than this. You got to hear yourself first. What you're mirroring outside, what's mirroring outside starts inside. And then you work on that connection outside. Okay. So I was seeing all of this. And like I mentioned in another video, I watched Stefan Speaks when he had like 10 lists of what a good man does. And I was like, oh my goodness, he checked off everything on that list. And I did not notice it. Okay. I share these with you because when your twin flame is like, I can't do this relationship, I'm in all this pain, I don't believe in myself, love is scary, I just want to be friends, and all this kind of stuff, there is no amount of please choose me, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay, let me do some nice stuff for you, that's gonna draw them closer to you. No. This is internal. This is internal. And there are ways you can help. I am going to get to this. Okay. So the universe stepped in a lot with me. And I was a fighter. The universe was just like, 𝐿, you got to do this. You need to do this. You got to show up. I'm like, leave me alone. Most of the time, just leave me alone. Like, I can't do this. I'm over here shaking inside. I'm feeling like I'm losing my legs. I did some weird stuff. I even reached out to a friend of his and I was like, can you ask him to block me? Because if I block him, I can unblock. I just need him to block me. And the friend was like, are you listening to yourself? And I said, well, when you're on this journey, some crazy stuff will come up, right? I see that comment, mama trauma. Yes, mama trauma. Lots of people, not just the DMs on this journey, have a lot of mother wounds. A lot of mother wounds, okay? Especially the divine masculine. Oh my goodness, my heart goes to the divine masculine, to all of you, to everybody on the journey, no matter what you consider yourself to be on whichever side. Those mother wounds, when it comes to divine masculine, they're intense. They're intense. All right. And so the universe worked a lot on me. They were like, 𝐿, you have to stop running. Okay, it was actually the universe that showed me that I ran, that I didn't realize I ran. Okay, so it was after 2 years of not hearing from him, the universe, I literally ran with the story. I was a chaser for like 2 years. I was like, I chased, he ran, I chased, and he ran. And then the universe came in, it was in the middle of the night, and they were like, you're the one rejecting the connection. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, he left. I didn't see that. I was blinded from it. You know, one of the things that happen when you're hoping, praying your twin flame can see it, whatever it is you want them to see, they may not be able to see it. Okay. The universe has a big part in this, a big part, or perhaps it's your soul that chose this particular route. When I talk to clients, I'll share this with you. What I usually say is view this from a higher perspective. Don't look at the 3D. Okay. Do not look at the 3D. If you look at the 3D, it's going to tell you all kinds of stuff. They're doing this, they're doing that. No, higher perspective. What's happening here? What am I learning from this? Why is this experience showing up for me to learn from? Maybe my energy was too much on them. Maybe I was moving things too fast. Perhaps there's a lesson from a previous lifetime showing up here that hasn't been healed. Higher perspective, spiritual perspective, move into that, not the 3D. The 3D is going to kill everything. Everything, okay? The ego, that's where the ego is. That's where fear is. It will kill your connection. It'll kill your opportunity to build a bond with anybody. That 3D, even if you work as a you're in your mission, you're doing the work, you're looking in the physical, it looks like your calendar is empty, your bank account's empty, business seems like it's not going well, and you're like, everything will fall apart. Step back and view it from a higher perspective. Let source come in. Okay, connect with, understand what's happening. from a spiritual perspective. Your person is mirroring things to you. That's what they come in for, to mirror within, so you can heal and grow and ascend on your journey. All right. So the universe came in and was like, you got to stop running. And, you know, a lot of things were hidden from me. And then this is when the universe started to show me things, because I was in a lot of intense pain. I left because of my pain. And the universe showed me visions, images of where he was in excruciating amount of pain. Okay. Someone I truly cared about. And I left the connection because I only saw my pain and didn't realize how much pain had been inflicted here. And that's one of the reasons someone asked me, how long did it take after the universe was like, oh, come together? And then reunion happened. It took 3 years. After that moment of lots of information coming to me, I could break this down, but it'll take forever. Okay. So the universe showed me that, and I lived with guilt for so long. Like, I did that. I left without any explanation, not once, 2 or 3 times. One was because I know some of you don't judge. I'm sharing with you, okay? What it's like on the other side. That's why I usually tell people I'll share even the push energy, or if you want to call it that. I don't like the word. I call it come back to me energy. That energy where you're on them a lot. Like, I want something to work, or I'm not good enough. The fear, or fear-based energy, you want to call it that. They're going to choose someone else. I'm not here. And all creates a pressure. And believe me, I had to deal with that pressure for a really long time, because the universe was like, 𝐿, you got to choose your path. You got to choose your twin. You need to let this karmic soulmate go, because it was a karmic that came into the picture before the universe let me know. The universe pretty much let me live my life before telling me that's not your life. And I was just like, oh. And so I had to learn how to let this person go. And it was an intense connection too, because that's how the universe grows. So they'll have this intense connection so you can learn something. So you can learn the attachment, non-attachment, whatever it is you need to. Okay. And so then, all right, every time I interrupt myself, right? So there was all this learning to do, how to stop running, how to trust, how to understand manifestation of connection, because it happens inside of you. Understand being in the present moment. All of this kind of stuff the universe showed me, and was like, you need to stop running. If you run again, this will never happen again. This will be the last chance you have in this lifetime. And so I had to figure that out. Okay. And the way I figured it out was I had to learn how to be in my body, because trauma causes you to have PTSD. You live CPTSD. I can't remember the full thing. I mean, I could Google it and all this kind of stuff, which I did have. Okay, complex post-traumatic stress disorder that causes you to live outside of you, to constantly scan the area, like there's danger, it's not safe. There's different things about it, but a lot of times you spend more time outside of your body, in your environment, on another person, and not much. Yes, thank you, complex PTSD, and not much inside of you. So I had to learn how to do that. And that can be painful for someone who hasn't done that. And believe me, I learned with a client years ago that to bring someone into their body had to be done carefully, because she wind up in some kind of pain. Like, you got to be real careful with that energy that's been sitting in your body, because you haven't been there. It's been sitting, you're acquiring energy from around you and all this kind of stuff, right? Oh, hi, Desiree. All right, I'll get to the comments soon. And oh, hi everyone. I didn't greet everybody. And Isabel Mawa, I hope I say that right. And Lilith, Monica had said hi, and DM, hi vibe freak. Everybody. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. I always have a hard time saying that. All right. To do all of that, I had to learn how to connect with people, you know, Capricorn, workaholic. I had a best friend for a long time, but when COVID hit, I was like, I don't have to do any of this stuff. I get to stay at home. I had to open up to connection. I had to start recognizing the emotions that I have, the feelings, stop hiding them from myself. Connect with my inner person, my inner child. We do a lot of inner child healing because this person wants to feel seen, heard, comforted, anything like those. That wasn't there in the early years. Those needs are still there. The need for validation, like your inner child still needs all of this. So I had to learn that. I had to learn how to trust my intuition, how to follow my inner guidance. Like now, I don't move unless my inner guidance says so, or I check in and make sure. If I'm feeling stuck somewhere, even in my own connection with my twin flame, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing Jesus talk to me. They want to say, Jesus talk to me. I will wait for that moment, okay? And to trust myself and to trust that connection isn't going to go away because this person is having a hard time, is struggling with themselves. That was another thing. I was shown so many things around ADHD, okay? I didn't know that had affected my connection. And the behaviors as someone who has ADHD, that goes misunderstood. I took it as this person's rejecting me. They don't want me. Meanwhile, there's the struggle with ADHD and keeping up with things and keeping up with appointments, keeping up with dates, not oversleeping, all of this kind of stuff, right? Because at the time, I only saw myself. Okay. And everything, it was all on me. And if you're the anxious one, the one holding on to the connection, the one who's like, I need to make this work, chances are you're only seeing yourself too. Okay. And I'm not blaming anyone. This journey is really, it is about yourself and connecting with yourself, but also understanding the other person and knowing how to experience connection with them. We are not taught how to connect. We're really not. Someone opens up about their problem and we tell them, oh, it's okay, don't worry. No. When we do that, we tell them, be positive, don't worry. What we're saying is, I'm invalidating your feelings right now. You're expressing to me that you have these feelings going on, and I'm telling you to ignore them the same way your parents had told you to ignore them. And there's a little person inside of you, there's an inner person, there's you, who's like, I'm tired of being ignored. I don't want to be ignored. I want to feel heard. Like, can someone hear me? Oh, I love that. Avoidant attachment, autism, etc. All that. Your person can have an undiagnosed something, and you're over here like, I need you. I have needs. You need to meet my needs. And my needs look like this. Make it right now. And then you wonder why they distance. Again, I am not blaming you. Midlife crisis. Yes, I love that you're listing them. Yes, I know what it feels like. I do know it too. Well, obviously, I explained it. What it feels like to be like, I need it right now. And did that feeling go away after reconnection? No, it was there. Not as strong. But again, the universe will be like, Isheen, let's send you a reminder. And then I'm like, okay, all right, universe. Okay. We got to keep it here. Keep it in. Okay. Keep it in. So your connection builds in a healthy, authentic way that feels like connection for you and the person, not one-sided. Okay. I know maybe you're a nice person, all this kind. No. I'll do a video on being nice. I can't wait to talk to all of you about being nice, because I was a nice person too. I know what being nice is. Okay. I was hiding behind being nice, and people thought I was nice. Okay. And I thought I was nice too for some of the part, but I knew there was some truth, but I knew. So I'll go live every Wednesday, but this might be something I'll talk sooner because I have so much to say. I just love this, right? I'll answer all these questions. All right. So all of this stuff I've learned. Right? And to stay when the anxiousness started, when the limiting beliefs began. I can't do this. I can't do this. Please make this person go away. They're going to hurt me. Maybe I said the wrong thing. Maybe he's all this kind of stuff that perhaps you might experience. It's not just the avoidant people. I say people, I mean you people. It's not the avoidant folks, okay? Who say, who grab intensely or pulls away sometimes and say, oh, they're going to do this to me. They're going to harm me. They're going to hurt me. Maybe the future is going to look like this. So I need to do more of something right now. So the future doesn't look like that. Like whether you have an anxious attachment or an avoidant attachment, you're trying to control the future and the outcome in some kind of way. All right. So this is where I'm going at that you can do. Okay. If someone is, I can't say much with anxious attachment in this moment. This video is about the avoidant or the anxious avoidant or anxious secure. No, avoidant secure. Let's say avoidant secure. They're here, a bit avoidant tendencies. I don't know. I might disappear for like a day or two. That can happen with the person. I might disappear so I can process this and come back. And so if you're anxious, you might be like, I haven't got a call in like a day or two. Like, why are they not here? We got to get out of it's about me. You make it about you and your healing and connecting with yourself. But what's going on with them? No. Okay. It is a mirror. I do believe that. But when you're looking at them and trying to figure it out and you're still attaching yourself to them. Okay. Like fully you and step back. And so the person may need a day or two more than that, to figure out themselves. But it's not an indication that they've left. And that's what happened to me. I was like, I'm not leaving. I just needed to deal with these voices in my head, with the inner person who's still terrified because someone told her love hurts and all this kind of stuff, and be patient. All right. So with the avoidant attached person, patience is the key. A lot of times we don't have patience because we want it right here, right now. Everything got to be right here, right now. Even when you're in your mission and you're getting clients, I need it right here, right now. And you might look for all kinds of tricks and corners to cut and all that. No, get out of the right here, right now. Okay. And develop patience. And this is still me to this day. If I go into the future, that's terrifying. Okay. Your avoidant, so-called runner person may not be able to handle conversations about the future. And you might be like, well, what about me? Like, I want to get married. Like, I want to have kids and buy a house together. Like, I want to build life. This does not mean, this is the mind. The mind is like, if I don't do, it's not going to happen. It's not true. Okay. Control that mind. It is not true. And some people are like, if I don't make it right now, I'm not going to have it in a year or 2 years. What if it takes another 5 years? This is the mind. Like, give that stuff up. You will push this person away with the mind. When the mind steps in, this person will be pushed away. Everything's in the hands of the divine. God is helping you out. God is speaking to that person. God speaks to you too. And listen, God, universe, whatever you connect with, and listen. Okay. I know that can be a challenging part, especially for a person who's avoidant. You might hear, I feel like you're the one for me one day, and next day, I can't do this. Okay. What was the truth? I feel like you're the one for me. A lot of people tell me, I don't get it. They say that we're meant to be together and all this kind of stuff. Like they can feel it, they see the signs, but then this happened. I'm confused. There's no confusion. There's no confusion. Okay. There's confusion in their behavior. There is no confusion. A feeling is a feeling. And inner guidance is a guidance. Something from your soul is from your soul. It's from God, it's from the universe. I truly get it. When it comes to that avoidant person, they will hear it and they're like, oh, how do I receive that? Because I haven't felt safe in love yet, even though I'm aware of who you are. Okay. Some of you might be like, oh, I think they forgot about me. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. It's a connection. I always say a connection is neither created nor destroyed by anybody. You feel a connection with someone, they feel it with you too. It's neither created nor destroyed. There might be certain things that go on, and then the two of you spend some time apart, but the connection doesn't go away. Okay. All right. And so we address patience. Future talks. Gotta go. All right. And don't worry, the future unfolds. When you step into the future, into the reality, this is where I tell you, when you learn about connection, you really can build connection. If you're still having conversations like, where do we stand? Where is this going? What are we doing? It's not going to happen. That does not work to build anything. Okay. I'll let you know right now. Throw those out the window. These questions create more harm than anything because the universe manifested. Where are we going? What's happening here? What are we considered? And all this kind of stuff because you didn't make the choice. Make the choice and step into that reality and be in the present moment and let your manifestation unfold. Okay. That's how that works. People will tell me when I stopped trying, it showed up. Think about that. When I stopped trying to convince and tell them and have these conversations that really feel icky to them and all that, because, the human mind is still a play at here. Psychology, when someone hears, where are we? What are we? What are we doing? It can create a pushback in their mind. And you're like, oh, they don't like me. They hate. No, you got to understand psychology too. Psychology is still a part of it. We are part human. We're not just soul. That is still in there. And the more you can be in the present moment, today is today. Next day is today. Next day is today. That's it. The more things unfold. And the avoidant person will begin to feel safe in the connection. And there may be a moment where you can begin to talk about the future. They may. Everyone's different. When they're feeling safe in themselves, safe, connected with you, just safe. Okay, safety is a big thing. It's a big thing for you too. To move into feeling safe in connection instead of, I got to hold on to it or I need to run from it. I'm going to be in here because guess what? It's not just me, the physical of the person. There's a soul leading here. There's a universe guiding here. Your ancestors, your everybody, okay? Your spiritual team, the archangels. You have all this guidance, and the mind says, "Oh, I got to do all this stuff to make all this stuff." Or no, you don't. And then there's the universal laws, okay? They're at play too. So the law of attraction, manifestation, law of creation, and all these universal laws are at play. So you're in the present moment and let it unfold, okay? And discover how to connect with the person. Big thing. When someone opens up to you, the last thing you want to say is, it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's nice. It's not that it's nice. You'll be okay. Look at the positive side. Look at the bright side. I've done some nice things for you. That's not connection. That's not connection. slow down and connect, okay, where they are. And this helps so much. This is the thing the inner child did not receive, was someone who can actually listen. And you don't have to do anything more than that. And allow the person to process what they're going through. Do you know how golden that is when you discover how to really connect with someone? Because most people do not know how. And perhaps you've experienced it yourself, where you try to open up with people who are around you and they switch topic, or they just stare at you, or they're just like, and you're like, wait a second, do you not hear me? Why doesn't anyone hear me? Because most people do not connect. Okay. And that's a different level of love, of trust, and all this kind of stuff. When a person can open up about what's truly going on inside of themselves, and there's no judgment, there's no control, and you don't even have to really give advice. You know, I always say, ask questions. You can start this with the people in your life now. Okay. Is to learn how to do that. Now, you might be like, why do I always have to do the work and I have to connect with them? What about them connect with me? Oh, yeah, that one too. Because when we shut down and we hide our feelings, no one's supposed to know, they're going to judge me and all this kind of stuff, you're destroying connection. Okay. And you might be like, but I opened up to them. Well, yes, it starts in here first. If you're not hearing yourself first, they mirror, I don't hear you. Okay. In here first. All right. And so these are the ways, and believe me, I share this because as much as you want to be like, well, I want this person right here, right now, I want them to be truly ready right here, right now. Everyone else is going to tell you, yeah, they're truly ready, and all this kind of stuff, while avoiding our differences in connection. Okay. You can't go wrong when you let go of control, understand yourself, understand the person you're connected with, really follow your intuition. If you're the divine feminine, your intuition is like, you need to step back. Step back, okay? No excuses. I don't want to hear it. Step back. Or your intuition is like, oh, I think you need to move slower, okay? Move slower. Trust me. You follow that, you're going to be good. All right. So lots of questions here, and I appreciate everyone who's still here. So I'm going back. My DM is married 25 years. We're 2.5 years on the journey. After 1 year of silence, we spoke last week and changed some messages. He was speaking only about the job. He changed his position. And I don't see the rest of this. Oh, wait, no, let me take this out. All right. So you reconnected, been married 25 years. When it comes to marriages, it depends, whatever your soul is telling you. I usually say, when you don't know what you want right now, because so many people are like, oh, after meeting my twin, like, I just can't be married to this person. Focus on your healing. All right. This person who's in your life is showing you something about yourself. That's what people are. They're mirrors. Focus on your healing. Let everything else work out on its own. Or allow the time to come when you know for sure what you're going to do next. I don't recommend just doing things on a random, and your emotions are still in different places, all this kind of stuff. No. All right. And is working 24/7. Oh, okay. Continue here. I'm in high frequency and feeling good. I'm glowing. He is wearing a mask. I didn't have the feeling he is much interested in my life now, but this is not triggering me anymore. Okay. All right. So this is good. This is good. Working 24/7 is a sign of running. Okay. The person who works a lot is running, not trusting the universe, this kind of stuff. Is there still an aspect of running in yourself? Right? This is not a blame thing, everybody. I'm not blaming. It's a mirror. all right, being shown here, but there may be other things. I don't know your story fully, and so I know he loves me. He was before cheating his wife and living his career, I believe, and I don't want this story anymore. I'm in union, and 5D is beautiful. I'm always remembering your words. All right, well, thank you. Love to connect more. Certainly reach out. You can email me. I'll put the email down below. I am tired of this. Early April, he contacted me saying we should speak, then vanish again. I'm glad you brought this up. All right. Was there, I would need more information, honestly. I did want to mention this. Every time your person comes in and they leave, what are you learning from that experience? Is there something? Do you feel like there was something for you to learn during those times? Okay. If there wasn't, there wasn't. Again, I'm not blaming anybody, or maybe something going on with them, whatever the case is, but we're concerned about you. What came up for you? What things were you saying to yourself? Things like those. Let go, let God. Exactly. And that's what I'm doing. It was a hard way. And after my 𝐅𝐿𝐼𝐧𝐿 to go through the journey was a long way, but now I'm love and thankful. Oh, wonderful. And what can I do more? Hopefully I answered the question, Isabel. You can feel free to ask again if I didn't. And thank you, Mawa. I love you, man, so much. I'm in India. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Love everyone. Love you too. I was told, P.S., I was told him I'm opening my own Pilates studio. He was speechless. All right. And I just have to skip past that and keep to the topic. Hi, just tuning in. Awesome. All the best for all beautiful souls. Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. And yeah, I like this one. What my spirit guides taught me is that when someone lashes out at you, it has nothing to do with you. Yeah. It's something inside them and they aren't correctly processing. Same thing, vice versa. Yes, it is. This is called ego. Okay. The ego, I believe I did a video, but I'll keep talking about the ego. When you understand the ego, you're going to save a lot of arguments from happening. You'll prevent a lot of arguments with anybody in your life when you can recognize, oh, this isn't the higher version of themselves. They're not in that space right now. They're an ego. The ego is a representation of their limiting beliefs, pain, even yours, pain, and all this kind of stuff. And that representative comes in, and that's who's with you right now, not their higher self. You're with their representative who only sees things in such a limited perspective. You know, universe is grand, but the ego says, oh my goodness, nothing's happening, it's not working, this is falling apart, everything's steering away, and there is nothing you can say to them that will be heard in that moment. Nothing. Okay. The ego comes in, it is strong, it wants to be heard, it wants to feel seen, it wants to be validated, all this kind of stuff. Don't take this personally. And a lot of times we feel like the ego lasts, like, oh, they're always like this. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. And when you want to talk about things, wait till ego subsides and goes back into the corner. And now you can talk. Okay. So it helps to recognize ego and know that, like, when the person lashes out at you, or they're saying a whole bunch of stuff that sounds like it does not make sense to you, it does not need to make sense in that moment. Okay. And I find that people do bounce back from their ego. It's like when you recognize it, you're like, all right, that's ego. That's not my person right now. That's ego. You might actually hear, why did I say that? That wasn't nice of me. But what do we do when ego shows itself? What do a lot of us do? We're going to war. We're putting on some boxing gloves, and I'm going to be right. How dare you think you're right? I'm right. And now you're arguing, and now defenses come up. You're both throwing words at each other and things like that, okay? Recognize the ego. You'll save a lot of arguments, and you can thank me later for that. I left almost every relationship. We're not judging you. Well, thank you. And yeah, our journey is within ourselves, but we aren't taught how to navigate within, only to suppress it. Yes, which causes a lot of problems in our lives. Yes. Yes, I love this. I gotta get you on stage someday. All right, we need a video call because I don't know what you look like. A high vibe freak and stuff like that. You have a lot of good points as well. And I've been grateful for your following all these years in the comments and things like those. Yeah, we suppress. And one of the things, this is coming up to share with you, we suppress because we feel like our inner person feels like they'll be in danger to open up. So one of the things that I teach, when a person learns how to open up, everything's inside first and it's mirrored outside. You're going to see changes on the outside. People are going to respond well when you open up. And that's the moment you help your inner you see that. Okay? It's rewiring. You're rewiring your brain patterns with how you connect with someone. You're changing that, because our mind goes straight to, it's not going to work. This is fearful. All this fear stuff. This is what's going to happen. And it will ignore what's working. All right. So that's one of the things. And the more someone opens up and you allow them to connect, they begin to feel safe in connection. Same thing with you. You'll actually have that mirrored back where you're learning how to feel safe and opening up instead of suppressing. And believe me, for a person who's avoidant or even an anxious, to the anxious person who's like, let me hold everything inside so everything will be fine. It'll be fine if I just do that, right? Who's learning to open up and say, no, I'm not okay. Sorry, I lied to you. I'm not. But owning that, right? That takes courage. It takes courage on either side. All right. And Desiree said, this is Desiree. Thank you for your gift. Your life will change for the better working with her. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Desiree. And Daphne. Okay, got it. All right. I like that. Daphne. And yes, also, and I did read that one. All right, let's see. Hi, Ashim. Me and my twin have been temporarily separated for 2 years, and I haven't checked her page since April. I began downloads from her while using deep breathing to allow healing for us. Those downloads are very important. Okay, they're very significant. Believe in them. Well, that's another video right there. Are there ever normal people, twin flame? Is anybody normal? We have our ideas of normal. I like to consider whatever people are, that's people are, and accept them, you know. Being kind instead of nice. Yes, Daphne, that's a good one right there. Don't be nice, be kind. There's a difference. And you need to feel your feelings. You need to release that pressure. Computers have a vent, cars have exhaust pipes, and trains have smokestacks. People need to vent too. It's about growing. Yes, it is. Thank you for sharing that. And do you ever feel guilty for how they are towards us? Do I feel guilty? That's a good question. Do I feel guilty? I can't say I feel guilty. I haven't thought about that. Because one of the things, even for myself, I had to learn how to forgive myself if I felt guilty. But when you take a step back, and this is what I encourage you to do, everybody, is to see the similarities here, the similar patterns. A lot of times when we're on this journey, we're like, why is this happening to me? There are thousands of people, okay, who share similar experiences. So when you take a step back, it's like, okay, this is the journey. This is the journey. Two people meet, they feel an instant connection, they're in a bubble love phase, fear creeps in, they go their distant ways, they're in excessive pain, they enter a healing journey, life changes, and they reconnect later in the timing of their soul. So when you look at like, oh, that's the journey. So many similarities, so many similarities. Then you understand, oh, okay, I've been a part of this thing, this ascension process that my soul chooses to go through, which feels harder than everybody else. Like you might look at other people and be like, why they have it easy? Your soul chose this path for a lot of other folks in things. Some are tougher, some journeys are tougher than others. And I learned how to do that by opening up to myself first. Absolutely. What I've learned is that your ego is like the rumble strip on the side of the highway. I can't stand that rumble strip. I know I drove on one yesterday. I was like, there we go again. When you're off track, it's loud. But when you're following your intuition, it's a lot more calm and quiet. Yeah, absolutely. Your ego is also what's in your shadows. So I love ego. I do. I don't hate ego. Sometimes when it's really strong and I'm just like, I don't want to think this way and all this kind of stuff. If you've gone through it, let yourself think that way. Let yourself go through it. You're seeing yourself. The ego shows you what you've been hiding. You're like, I'm okay. Everything's great. I love connection. I can be connected. And then the ego comes up. Why are they doing this? I'm terrified now. What if they, okay, that's you. Not the other one that says I'm okay. That's not you. And so it helps you to see what you're hiding from yourself. All right. And how to heal my jealousy. It's more about possessiveness. I've worked on it in my inner child, but not shifting a lot. Go deeper. Go deeper. There are reasons for it. And the universe helps you with it too. Let me not go into that. Go deeper into the jealousy. Where did it come from? The roots of it, all of this. Also, he doesn't want to spend time with me. He controls himself and just works. No phone calls either, just text. He's super avoidant. Again, excuse me. I see the avoidant in connection when the person's like, I don't know. I don't feel like connecting and all this kind of stuff. No, yeah, you're right. He's avoiding connection. There's more to it. There definitely is more to it. And things like those. Hold on. I feel like I'll help you gain a little clarity here. He doesn't want to spend time with me. He controls himself and just works. No phone calls either. Okay. Yeah. He may be. I'm not gonna say every action is avoidant. Okay. Yes. If he works a lot, he's avoiding himself. He's avoiding connection. Maybe he's ambitious. Maybe he's trying to figure out how to stop avoiding. I was the kind of, he's a different person. I truly get it. I'll share a little bit. This journey put me not just with connection, but also with mission. A lot of us feel called to do something. Okay. And it was a lot of busy work for me. When you're starting a business, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to not work so much. I spent years trying to figure out how to not work so much because the universe was like, you need to have this figured out so you can make time for connection. We want you with your twin flame, so you need to figure this out. So I spent a lot of time figuring it out. And I did figure it out. And this is one of the reasons I help business owners as well. And I put it down there. There's more to just building a business. There's healing. There's a lot of healing mindset that takes place, because if you're conditioned to work hard to make money, that's what's showing up in your life. That process needs to change so your reality begins to reflect being comfortable, being relaxed, being connected. And we help build a system. I have a team that does that, so you don't have to constantly look for new clients, all this kind of stuff, and you can make more time for yourself. But if a person hasn't learned to make time for themselves yet, again, this is a sign of CPTSD. Even when the time gets cleared up, they're going to look for something else to do. So I am a big believer that the universe comes for you and your person. They talk to both of you, whether your person's aware or not, or aware of it or not. Maybe a YouTube video will come along and they're like, you need to slow down and connect. Okay. You need to connect with people. You can't avoid people, let people in, and all this kind of stuff. Maybe the universe will create some sort of major event. Sometimes the twin goes through something and we feel so bad, but don't do that. The universe comes in with a wake-up call, like, all right, I'm going to do this stuff so you can start to see yourself and stop doing what you're doing. Okay. That happens on this journey too. He says he's super introverted. Yeah, introverted as well. So it's about being safe in your body. That's what I had to do first. Be safe inside me first. Feel safe with people around me. I was a really shy person. I talk to people, but like, especially in groups, some sort of anxiousness was happening. I had to learn how to be safe even in that too. And then be safe, feel safe in connection. So he has a child he pays for, hence overworking. Yeah. When we overwork is because we don't trust the universe yet. Okay. You can look within for a lot of the stuff that he's showing. We don't quite trust that the universe is here and supports us and delivers and gives us everything that we need without working hard for it. That is very true. All right, so we'll go into manifesting too, and lots of different topics. All right, so this has been a while, and I'm so excited that all of you have hopped on. Certainly catch the replay. Thanks again for joining, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.